Happiness isn't just about what medication you're on, it also depends on where you live.
The World Happiness Report for 2015 is out. Published by the Sustainable Development Solutions Network, the survey attempts to measure the happiness of citizens across 158 countries.
So a lot of Western countries there. I know countries in the West seem to get a lot of shit these days, but I guess we're doing something right in the happiness department. Maybe it's because we're making countries in the East unhappy, I'm not sure. But let's start with number 15, the United States. Does that seem about right to you guys as Americans? Do you feel like we're roughly, that seems ballpark?
Yeah, we're moderately happy.
Yeah. Is there any chance we could ever be as happy as the people in Switzerland? I mean, isn't that like the thing, like they don't get involved in anything really, so, and they're a very homogeneous society.
Right.
So it's like there's a certain level of happiness that maybe we just can't get to.
I hadn't thought of that. Maybe that's why they're number one and we're down there towards the end.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't start any wars. They eat a lot of chocolate.
So it's chocolate and no wars.
Yeah.
Maybe. What else would be the keys? Chocolate, no wars, those sound good.
Yeah, just how beautiful the location is that they're in, you know, like,
Yeah.
I think sometimes people need to learn how to be happy. I think that's an important thing, you know, like, meditation I know is very, seeing a sort of renaissance these days.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I think that, for many people, it's just something that eludes them because they're just too much, you know, caught in the moment and they're not, you know, they don't know how to be mindful and grateful for what they have, perhaps.
Yeah, let's throw the image back up for just a second. David, what do you make of the fact that these are mostly westernized countries? So in all your travels, was there somewhere you went that's not on this list that you think that the people might be happier? And also, of course, we all gauge happiness differently.
Yeah.
So I'm not 100% sure of the scientific basis of all
Yeah,
this.
it's interesting. I'd love to know how they gauge this, but I often find that the places I go in the developing world, the people seem happier, and that sounds terrible because we always associate Africa, for example, with poverty, and there are people living in extremely difficult conditions, but when you look at people, how they live there in their family unit, I often see people's just level of joy, being always with their family, living in tight-knit communities. That's real happiness as far as I'm concerned. I see it a lot in developing countries. So I don't know how they come up with that list, but if I had to gauge a list, places like Senegal and Africa, the people there, to me, seem way happier than Swiss people, for example.
Yeah, it's really interesting, and I guess that's the catch-22 of westernized civilization. Like, we get all these gadgets, right? We have all of our iPhones and all that stuff. But is any of this stuff making us any happier? Do you think that all this technology that we have and this interconnectivity, do you think it's making us happier, actually?
Yeah, I don't think, I mean, obviously things, you can't buy happiness, you know, the time that I've spent abroad in Europe and things like that, I think people tend to spend their money more on experiences, and that, I think, is something that we don't necessarily appreciate here in the States as much.
Does it all come down, though, to what you're saying about like the family unit? I was in El Salvador 2 years ago. It's a true third world country. I mean, they literally don't have, they have garbage that they're burning on the street because they don't have trash pickup. But the people there all did seem they were poor, but they did seem pretty happy, actually.
Yeah, I think it's a difference between happiness and joy, maybe. I don't know how to define it, but there is something there that we don't experience.
Yeah.
Maybe it's loneliness versus happiness. Here, we're consumed by our devices, like you said, and we sort of find solace in our iPhones. And there, it's like you're with your friends all the time. You're running around on the street. You're having fun. I don't know, but maybe there's the correlation with the coldness. I've noticed that the top countries there seem very cold.
How does that make any sense? I'm not a cold guy, hence I live in Los Angeles. But yeah, Switzerland, Iceland, Denmark, Norway, Canada, Finland. Yeah,
they're all the top of the world.
That is very bizarre.
That is bizarre.
Wait, so Australia, number 10. Israel, Middle East, so it's warm over there, but wow. Anyway, what do you think? Are you happy? Where are you watching this right now? And does that make any sense to you? Let us know in the comments right down below.